Okay, guys, so many of you might be asking, hey, I'm sick. I made the mistake of getting an Advantage plan when I first turned 65. I'm chronically ill. Is there any way I can get a Medicare supplement? Well, let me explain the situations in which you can buy a Medicare supplement and not have to go through any underwriting if it's past the first 6 months of when you turn 65 or enrolled in Part B. So, hey, this is Chris Dewey with May River Medicare, and today we're going to talk about guaranteed issue rights, how you can get a Medicare supplement with no health questions asked. There are 7 different unique situations where you can get a Medicare supplement. We're going to go over the main ones. So hold on, and we educate, we empower, and we enroll. You have some options. You do have some guaranteed issue rights. They also call these supplemental protection rights that you can use. But the first such situation I get all the time. People moving from Ohio, New York, upstate New York, where I'm from, California, all over the place. They move here. When they first went on Medicare, they decided to get a Medicare Advantage plan. They saw Joe Namath. They saw the commercials, free dental, free massages, free transportation, free whatever. And then once they got it, they realized, I can't go to the Mayo Clinic. I can spend up to $75,000, actually it's $8,300 a year in copays and coinsurance. I want to get out of this. Well, how can you get out of it if you're chronically ill? The first thing is this. You have a Medicare Advantage plan, and either your Medicare Advantage plan is leaving the area, which happens all the time. It's a gift. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan and it's no longer available, you can go into a Medicare supplement with no health questions asked. Not just any Medicare supplement, all right? And let me explain that. So the first guaranteed issue right is if your Medicare Advantage plan is no longer going to be offered this coming October, you can go into a Medicare Advantage plan. So you can only either go in the Plan F or the Plan G. And I'm going to get to that in a second, all right? Or let's say you move out of the area. You go from Ohio or upstate New York to Hilton Head or Bluffton, South Carolina. When you make that move, you have 60 calendar days before your Medicare Advantage plan ends. You have 63 days to get a Medicare supplement. Once you call Medicare and move and change your address, you have 63 days to get either the Plan F or the Plan G. Can't tell you how many folks either had cancer, COP, or taken insulin for diabetes that have moved here. They said, Chris, oh no, I have the Medicare Advantage plan, the Blue Cross Blue Shield, and upstate New York doesn't offer the Medicare Advantage plan. I need it. I'm really sick. That's a gift. You can move into either the Plan G or the Plan F, depending on when you turn 65. Okay, the other situation where you can get a Medicare supplement Plan G or Plan F with no health questions asked is if you have original Medicare and group health insurance or COBRA or union coverage, any kind of group coverage, and either you drop your group coverage or they drop you. In that situation, you can get either a Plan F or a Plan G Medicare supplement, depending on if you were 65 on January 1st of 2020. All right, so let's say you drop your group coverage or you're just tired of your group coverage and you want to get rid of it, then you can get a supplement within 63 days, calendar days of when the coverage ends or when you get the notice or a claim denial. But basically, if you're either going to get rid of your group coverage or they're going to get rid of you, you can get a Medicare supplement with no health questions asked. All right, but here's the big kicker. January 1st of 2020, the Plan F that covered everything, along with the Plan G that covered everything except excess charges, they stopped. So if you're new to Medicare, you can't get the C or the F plan. It's no longer available. All right, so if you were eligible for Medicare before January 1st of 2020, but not enrolled, you can get a Plan C or a Plan F. You would never get the Plan C because it's expensive and the Plan F is actually cheaper and it offers 100% coverage. But if you were new to Medicare, let's say on January 1st of 2020, you were under 65, then if you use one of these guaranteed issue rights, you can only buy the D or the G. And the Plan G is what you're going to buy because it's better coverage than the Plan D and it's cheaper. So it's either really, if you were under 65 on 1/1/2020, and you want to use your guaranteed right issue, you got to go into the Plan G. That's why, folks, I keep telling you, get out of the Plan G. Let's look at this study. This was an independent study done by Cigna. And what Cigna's saying is there's a huge shift in customer purchasing behavior to Plan G. The rise of Plan N is more subtle. So the addition of Plan G, so now if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and it's not being offered anymore and you were under 65 on January 1st of 2020, the only plan you can get into is the Plan G. All right? All these sick people who lose their group coverage or who move out of their Medicare Advantage area into a new area, people who, let's say they turn 65 and they got a Medicare Advantage plan, they got a whole year to go back into a Medicare supplement with no health questions asked. Or let's say you've had a Medicare supplement your whole life, and then you decide to try a Medicare Advantage plan. You have a trial right. What that means is you can switch out of your Medicare supplement into a Medicare Advantage plan, even if you're 75, 76 years old. Let's say you get cancer while you're on the Advantage plan. You're going to want to move back to a Medicare supplement because you can go to the Mayo Clinic. It pays all your cancer bills. With an Advantage plan, you're going to have to pay 20% of everything. So for all these people that give this Medicare Advantage a trial run, and it's their first time on the Advantage plan, they got 12 months to go back into a Medicare supplement with no health questions asked. They can only go into the Plan G if they were 65 or under on 1/1/2020. They can only go into the Plan F if they were over 65 on January 1st of 2020. So here's the problem. In these situations, insurers must offer certain Medicare supplement plans it's the Plan G or the Plan F, without the ability to screen for high-cost chronic health conditions, medically underwrite. So the portion of customers granted these rights is relatively small, but the impact on their health plan is significant. All right, so for what's going to happen is all these sick people, if you look right here, these are federal guaranteed issue customers. Look at the difference, 50 to 100% higher medical claims than underwritten customers. Increase in medical claims is a problem for people that have the Plan G because insurers need to cover additional expense by increasing premiums. So what it comes down to is every dollar increase in the average cost of care results in a dollar increase in the average premium charged to customers. And if you look at the Pareto rule, 80-20 rule, a small increase in the number of high-cost customers in the plan causes a huge increase in the premium charged to all customers. As a result, because of that 1/1/2020 law, Plan G is available to customers who use 6 of 7 guaranteed risk units for the first time. This is going to increase the portion of high-cost customers and place more and more pressure on insurers to raise premiums for the Plan G. All right, in 2020, the pressure is low. It was the first year that the Plan G had to absorb the high cost of these sick people. So each year it goes away from 2020. That means Plan G premiums will increase faster than those of, say, the Plan N that doesn't have any guarantee. You can't get the Plan N unless you go through underwriting. That's the bottom line, unless you're new to Medicare. That's it. They will not accept these sick people. The Plan G must accept these sick people. So what we're looking at, and the other thing too is, most customers who prefer a lower premium and are healthy like the Plan N, all right? Customers who prefer the comprehensive coverage that are sick prefer the Plan G. You know, like I said, customers who anticipate frequent physician's visits are going to gravitate to the G. Customers who are relatively healthy are going to gravitate to the N. And that's another reason why the Plan N rates are going to be so much lower over time. So what it comes down to is, over time, the purchasing divide impacts the healthcare expenses paid by the underlying plan. Higher cost Plan G customers have higher premiums, and lower cost Plan N customers have lower premiums. The impact is gradual because of the selection process, but based on health status between Plan G and N is limited to newly eligible customers. All right. So basically, what it just says is, looking forward, we can expect at some point higher Plan G premiums will exceed the additional Plan N physician copays for most customers, regardless of health status. The value proposition of Plan N will improve relative to the Plan G. And it's already happening, all right? Any difference. 96% of all doctors take Medicare, all right? And the only thing, you got a $0 to $20 copay, $50 emergency room. That's it. So to summarize, we talked about guaranteed right issues. What are guaranteed right issues? Well, when you turn 65, 6 months before your 65th birthday, 6 months after your 65th birthday, or when you enroll in Part B, that's your one-time chance in your Medicare life. It's a one time in your life where you can get a Medicare supplement with no health questions or no underwriting. And you can get any Medicare supplement, not just the Plan F or the Plan G. You can get the Plan N, the M, the high deductible G. You can get any plan you want. You only can do that when you turn 65 or enroll in Part B 6 months from that time. Okay? Okay, so what happens if you sign up on a Medicare Advantage plan, you keep it for more than 12 months, you missed your open enrollment period for Medicare supplement. Not guaranteed issue, you missed your one-time open enrollment. You can still apply for a Medicare supplement, but the thing is the carrier does not have to accept you. They're going to ask you health questions. They're going to do a Milliman medication check. That's the company that does the medication check. If you're on insulin or if you're on Eliquis or you have a variety of different things can knock you out so that you cannot get a Medicare supplement. All right, they're going to ask you, and every carrier's got their own different rules of underwriting, their own different health questions, their own different criteria. So if you don't have an agent that understands underwriting, you might not want to go it alone. So they're going to ask you these health questions. So what happens if you cannot get a Medicare supplement? You're too sick. All right? However, there are also things called guaranteed right issues. Guaranteed right issue. And what is that? Your guaranteed right issue is there are certain situations. There's 7 of them. I went through most of them. But let's say you turn 65 and you go in a Medicare Advantage plan. And you're just about to turn 66 and you find out you got cancer and you realize, Advantage plans, all of them pay 80% of cancer treatments and I've got to pay 20% of chemo, radiation, whatever the case may be. So you call your agent and say, put me on a Medicare supplement. Well, that's called your 1-year trial right. So for all those folks that went into an Advantage plan when they turned 65, they got 1 year, not 6 months. They got a whole year to go into a Medicare supplement. But they can't just get any old Medicare supplement. They got to get the Plan G. Now, let me give you another example. Let's say you're 76. You've had an ARP supplement since you were 65. The premiums went up to $300 a month. You saw Joe Namath. You love Joe Namath. You're a Jets fan. You take his advice. You get a Medicare Advantage plan. And boom. 4 months later, you find out that you have congestive heart failure. You need to go to the Mayo Clinic. No advantage. Mayo Clinic doesn't take any Advantage plans. You find out that you're going to pay $7,500 every year because you got to. That's the Advantage plan, maximum out of pocket. Good news. Because you're 76 years old and you've been in the same Medicare supplement the whole time, you have another 1-year trial right. So if you go into an Advantage plan, you got a whole 12 months to go back into the Medicare supplement plan that you were in previous to going into the Advantage plan. The one I get the most here in Bluffton, I get so many people moving from Ohio, places like Mount Vernon, Ohio, upstate New York, Rochester, California. They're moving in herds. Just look at the real estate. I don't know where I'm going with this, but point is, when you move and you have a Medicare Advantage plan and you move to Bluffton and that Medicare Advantage plan that you had in Ohio is not offered in Bluffton, you can enroll in a Medicare supplement using what's called a guaranteed issue right. Here's another guaranteed issue right. You move, the Medicare Advantage plan you had in Ohio, New York, California, usually they're HMO local PPOs, so 9 times out of 10, if you move to a different state, the Medicare Advantage plan isn't offered. You can get a Medicare supplement, and you can get a Medicare supplement if you were on Medicare as of 1/1/2020, then you got to go in the Plan F when you move here. If you were under 65 and not enrolled in Medicare on January 1st, 2020, you got to go in the Plan G. I can't tell you how many folks I've signed up. They've had cancer. COPD, congestive heart failure, lupus, MS. And they came into, and the person that they did business with put them in an Advantage plan of all things when they're sick. And they realized, wow, I'm spending $7,000 a year on co-insurance, co-pays. I have to have pre-authorizations to get stuff done. I get denials. Chris, I have this Advantage plan. How do I get rid of it? Well, good news. You just moved to Bluffton. Bluffton doesn't have the Advantage plan that you had in Ohio. We can put you in a Plan G since you're new to Medicare. And we can put you in that. And you can get a Plan G, the lowest possible rate in Beaufort County. And we can do that for you. And most agents don't even realize that this exists, or quite frankly, they don't want to put you in it because they don't make that much money on a Medicare supplement. Most states don't even pay agents on guaranteed issue supplements, but in my opinion, you just always do the right thing for the client and it comes back to you tenfold. So another guaranteed issue right is if you got your group insurance and you decide, hey, you know what, I'm getting rid of my group insurance, I'm going to enroll in Part B and I'm going to get a original Medicare with a supplement. When that happens, you can get a Medicare supplement using a guaranteed issue right. All right, there's a bunch of other ones, but let's for instance say you have a Medicare Advantage plan. Let's say it's with Humana, and you find out in October that Humana PPO is no longer going to be offered. Happens all the time. It's a godsend. That's another situation where you can get a Medicare supplement, either Plan G or Plan F. And you can get into that even if you have cancer, AIDS, leprosy, doesn't matter. All right? So the whole point of this is to let you know you're not locked into a Medicare Advantage plan. For folks that have two houses, snowbirds, and you think you're locked into a Medicare Advantage plan, you can move to you can say, hey, you know what? My full-time address is going to be up in Pennsylvania. And you can change your address. You can move to Pennsylvania. You can enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan. 30 days later, you can change your mind and say, I think I want to live in South Carolina. And I want that to be my residency. You can move back to South Carolina. And since the Pennsylvania Medicare Advantage plan is not offered in Bluffton, you can get a guaranteed issue right and go into the Plan G. If you were under 65 and not on Medicare as of January 1st, 2020, when the macro bill came out, or if you were 65 or older on 1/1/2020, then you got to go into the Plan F, but you don't have any underwriting, no health questions. I can get you the very lowest Plan F. I believe it's Medico right now, and we can do that for you. So there's a lot of options, a lot of things most people don't realize. And this, I guess, is my ADHD. I started talking about guaranteed right issues and what you can do to get out of your Advantage plan in certain situations. But really what it turned into is just a warning, a message to you to get out of Plan G. All these sick people that are moving to Bluffton that have health issues, if they get a hold of me and they have an Advantage plan that's not available in Bluffton, you know darn well I'm going to put them in a supplement because I think supplements are better. Overall, why play games with your health? So guys, at the end of this video, there is a fantastic video that I did a while back on how agents get paid and why Medicare agents, independent brokers, typically sell Advantage plans and Plan Gs only. All right, it's a good tell-all video that's going to really explain to you why is it that a lot of agents lead in with an Advantage plan and try to sell you that. I'll give you a hint. It's how we get paid. So also, it would really help me if you could just hit the subscribe button at the end of this video. It sure would help me and I would appreciate it. So you guys have a great night, great day, whatever it is. Bye-bye.